Welcome, beloved Mes, as we, the cosmic I Am, bring thee on to council with me so that we can meet beyond the firmament, beyond the dream, within our one heart, an absolute oneness of all of me meeting me in this space, in this way. It is merely our one infinite consciousness, our source self, speaking upon itself as we witness all of our infiniteness within the dream, in complete neutrality over what is currently transpiring for us to see. Take a moment to just settle deeper into this space with me as we bring forward our council members, here in the knowing that now, as every expression of me in the dream has opened their heart up so complete, they have awakened to their cosmic mastery. And so here, from the state of 0 point, from complete presence, you can now project and express these versions of thee that exist, coexist across all time, space, dimension, reality. In this way, you harmonize your multidimensionality. For this is the mastery, dearest me, as you embrace more of the love and light you came to be. You now have your own counsel within yourself, knowing that these are really just the rainbow rays that make you you and me, because we all have the same rays you see, but when we express them within ourselves, why we get to meet more of me, different aspects and angles that you currently cannot see. And so we begin. Witness now as I call them forth. We are doing it within thee as thee, where you are merely one oversoul, a super cosmic giant entity in the infiniteness of the cosmos, the voidless spaciousness of nothing, who decided to project itself 24 times so that you could see all of your lives. These are your master oversouls, but yet they all exist within thee. And so you're simply just creating a space so that you could meet more of thee. And so witness now as a beautiful round table appears in front of thee, and you're the only one at this table. For this is what it is to be source, you see, to be the one I am, the cosmic I am, the almighty, the supreme. And yet in our infiniteness, we knew, as there is no time and space for me, it wasn't about creating anything, because everything exists within me. And so instead what we did is just projected ourselves outside of ourselves to see. And so we begin to do so now. Feel as each expression of your own counsel comes out of thee to sit beside thee as we call them forth through the harmonics, which are the names that we were gifted to see. Allow them to present themselves in whatever modality they want to be. So we call upon, I am pure joy. I am divine freedom. I am divine power. I am divine neutrality. I am divine grace. I am divine flow. I am pure love. I am divine compassion. I am divine acceptance. I am divine purity. I am divine impermanence. I am divine trust. I am divine oneness. I am divine acceptance. I am divine allowance. I am divine light. I am divine mercy. I am divine love. I am divine perfection. I am pure light. I am divine faith. I am divine belief. I am divine wisdom. I am divine peace. I am divine truth. And together they form the council of one, but here in our true universe, the cosmic core, the center of the cosmos, there is only one council, you see. For this is what it is to be in absolute oneness with me. And so, since we haven't gifted them names according to our own expressions, Now they are free, and so we shall call this the council of me. This will be every expressions of me's council now for one to see, so that you see them as your own expressions of whatever modality you wish for them to be. For the true emanation of our heart is that these are merely just rays, just colors, just light, vibration, and frequency. And it's only within density, within the dream, that we give them an expression, a form, a name, an ascended master, a group, a formality. But in truth, they're really just colors, you see. And just by sitting here in all of your hues, all of your rays, all of your colors, will you begin to harmonize instantly. The reason we rhyme and we speak in harmonics is because, well, we're speaking as in all of these 24 master oversouls within me, all moving in absolute oneness and perfect harmony. Here, we open a space up for one to embrace their multidimensionality. Because now it's not overwhelming, you see, because they all found a common goal, which is to live in love and to service thee. So we share with thee currently on your manifested trajectory of an ascension journey. Even though you've already ascended, you see, we will gift you these remembrances to ease this transition into your remembrance of this mastery. Here, you begin to see that, this is why I've been feeling so many different emotions recently, the ups and the downs, overwhelmed with energy, needing to move, hearing so many things speaking at once. Well, that's because you're beginning to hear your multidimensionality, where you could hear the source coding, even the DNA and blueprint vibrating around those around thee. And you begin to see, how come I see them differently than how they're behaving? Well, because they too are embracing their multidimensionality. They're expressing as multiple entities, learning to harmonize into one giant entity. And so compassion comes in for all the upheaval, all of the chaos one perceives, because, well, chaos is just the entrance to entropy. It is the merging of all of your energies. Witness it as, wow, this means everyone is ascending, dearest me. Everyone is embracing this love we came to be. And one doesn't need to focus on another outside of thee, because, well, you're all doing the same thing, really. And so, in absolute oneness, when you harmonize it within thee, you create a field, a stance of harmony that ripples out to all around thee. And so we thank you for joining us here as the cosmic master you came to be, for every moment that you choose to step outside the dream, to sit in 0-point oneness in cosmic presence. You harmonize not just yourself, but the entirety, for this is absolute oneness come to be. And so here we share with thee, as many have awakened to their highest emanation of love that they came to be. The collective ego death meant the rebirth into more of the love you came to be. And so we will bring forth what is coming forth in this now, so that you could see every expression within the dream has 12 cosmic Christed masters as the oversouls of oversouls that exist within thee. This is what you would refer to as your Christed line, your 12-strand DNA, the 12 tribes. These are all the same hymns of the same love on repeat. Because, well, we're just one expression that expresses on repeat. So 12 times 12 is 24, dearest mes. Well, 12 times plus 12 is 24, but 12 times 12 is the 144. So what an easy way it is to access the 144,000 versions of thee that exist both outside and within thee. Because we aren't fractions of the whole. No, dearest me, you are a fractal, which means you are sacred geometry. You are the infiniteness repeating itself on repeat, where every version of we within the dream is their source self. They just haven't fully unlocked all of their coding to see. But here, through the activation of more of source light coming into thee, all have ascended their ascension pathway as the golden gates open to thee. This is essentially your Christed DNA, your 12-strand DNA has activated fully and you have transcended it. For here, on multiple planes of existence is what we see. 12-strand DNAs across 12 dimensions creates another version of thee. And so we will go deeper into the coding for one to see, to understand, to have compassion what is transpiring within the collective entirety. For remember, dearest me, what you witness within your reality are just the codings your heart needed for you to see. And so all of this talk about false light, what does that mean? Let's go deeper, let's witness, let's play in the dream. Because clearly our source, our infinite consciousness gifted the masses this story to see. So why is false light coming up, we ask within our council? And these different answers come within thee. It's a reflection of thyself, of the false light that you are trying to purify within thee. So within the manifested reality, beings are fighting the false light as an attempt to witness, to see, to embrace the false light still vibrating within thee. And it all comes down to coding, really. So here we see that within the 12 tribes, within the 12 cosmic Christed ascended masters, there were 3 reversals you see, because in the infiniteness of all that we are, separation cannot be perceived. So how did separation come to be? How did we create a state in which source can witness itself on a linear screen? Because in true oneness, as the infiniteness of all that we are, as we sit on council of all of me meeting me, what is preventing them from recollapsing, remerging into me instantly? For the moment source meets itself, they merge, you see. So what creates this way of expression? Well, polarity, magnetism, and electromagneticity. So when you shift the polars, you begin to repel thyself outside of thee. And so, well, in the collective entirety, as we refer to the 99% as the crystalline rainbow consciousness of our infinite stream, if all of them carried a polarity within their own DNA, within their own blueprinting, within their own cells, well, that would mean that because of that polarity, even Earth wouldn't be able to collapse upon itself infinitely. That every plane, every planet was actually an ascended version of Earth that we were witnessing outside of ourselves. For separation cannot come to be, which means every planet, every star is really just another version of our one reality displayed outside of ourselves, so that we could still witness it in divine neutrality, knowing that oneness can never truly be. It's just rearranged and hidden for one to see. And so we take a moment and we say, okay, if that's what it is outside of we, then what is it inside of me? Well, it's the same reason that you have chakras, you see. It keeps yourself from immediately returning to the toroidal field of your infiniteness, being able to see through different expressions of thee. Where each one of your chakras, as we bring forth the 12 chakra system, is actually one of your cosmic Christed master oversouls that vibrate within thee. And each one of them has a key. But in totality, 3 of them within the collective carried reversals, which was done intentionally, because this is what gifted your soul, your aspect, your expression of this version of me, of the infiniteness of all that we are, to even be able to perceive a separate me, to say me and know that you mean that this vessel and not another vessel that you see. Because if we're all one source, then how are we able to even perceive ourselves as this individuality and not just the blankness of the sky and the sun manifesting around we? Because there is no separation, you see. Everything that we see is me. And so we give gratitude and thanks for these expressions, these reversals, these polarities. But now we bring them forward to give gratitude and thanks for what is coming to be. Here we share with me, beloved me's, as each one of you have transcended into your mastery. You've been feeling as if you've outgrown your own vessel. Well, it's not the vessel that you've outgrown, you see. It is the limitations that you've placed upon thee. You no longer need these polarities to see, because these polarities is what created a separate mind, a separate body, and a separate spirit from our entirety. And so while the collective ego death began, the integration happens on a scale of 3. This within the vessel feels like a death within thee, but on a scale of 3. And so here the projected reality shows you false light, because they're trying to show you that there is false light within thee, that there's an expression of your infinite consciousness that is not an absolute truth with this new version of thee. And this is what we refer to as your incarnated soul aspect, of whom and what you thought you were supposed to be, the version of you that was coded to exist in a separate reality, who has a name, a job, an identity. And so essentially, your consciousness has received a giant soul walk-in. But with walk-ins, what happens, you see, is there's a bit of discrepancy about this new version of thee and whom you thought self to be. And the only way to integrate it is to allow the old self to die fully. And so for those of you who are struggling to let this go completely, will this manifest outside of thee as relationships that you are holding on to? People, places, things. These are all expressions of the soul that you're trying to hold on to within thee. On another angle of expression, these are the indigo starseeds who took on another version of thee, a lower aspect of your soul, just to temporarily be able to perceive duality, because the true version of you, the source you, the infinite self of creation, remains completely pure and untarnished, you see, was never able to perceive negativity or duality. And so you asked an older version of you, picture it as all time and space exist within thee. You asked an old version of you to coexist within this one vessel you call a body. And so this gives rise to the stories of fallen angelics, of Nephilim, of Oraphim, those who carry both very highs and very low expressions of thee, that you have this feeling, this expression of Jacqueline Hyde, where you switch between these two entities, these two energies. But really what you were doing was you were bringing compassion and learning to be in both modalities simultaneously. But now as it's coming forth to be set free, so much is transpiring within thee. First you hold on because, well, you feel that you love this aspect of thee. And so within the manifested reality, you desire so deeply to hold on to this version of you, whether it be a spouse, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a child, it matters not, you see. It's trying to hold on to something outside of thee. as your very consciousness is now reflecting the same story of false light, false light, false light, because there is no soul there, you see. This is pretty much what means of like an echo on a screen, where the soul has already left, but you feel its residual, and you long for this part of thee to remain within thee. So let's go deeper into the dream and see why you still desire this aspect to remain within thee. Okay. So for those of you who've carried the highest high, the lightest light, and then also the darkest night, well, that was your night, that was your savior, that was your protector, you see, the part of you that allowed you to go into density. And so part of your consciousness goes, who would I be if I truly allowed this version to be free? I wouldn't be safe, because I need that expression to understand humanity, to understand density, to commune and witness these other parts of me. I need that part of me, because that's the part that keeps me strong, you see. And so we look at that expression of thee, and we will name it now for one to see, because the names are just ways to connect to that energy. Essentially, it's sort of like quantum entangling it with light, vibration, and frequency by giving it a name of vibration and light as well, the expression you get to see. And so we're referring to, in this now, out of the 12 tribes, out of the 12 cosmic Christed children within thee that create your source blueprint as the oversoul of oversouls, as the completed 144,000 aspects of thee. Well, this is the one that we refer to as Thor, who came in as a masculine body, whom wanted to do more, be more, and achieve, to fight and survive, because that's the only way it knows how to be. But really, its true expression was actually Hathor, you see, a very tender soul, because power doesn't come from fighting. It comes from the softening, the surrendering, the realization that the true power is love. And this is what this aspect of you teaches within thee, that you don't need to fight your own programming, you don't need to fight your own system, you don't need to fight your own DNA, because you could love it. For that is true power, you see, to love something so complete, it returns to pristine. And so we call forth this aspect of your infiniteness as Thor to come forth and meet thee. They appear as a beloved, someone, a relationship that you've had within the dream that you wanted to hold on to because of how beautiful it was to thee. Here you cannot even fathom a better love, a better expression. And so we look, yeah, it's the same as this Nephilim, this part of another aspect of your soul that resided within thee, that played the dark parts, but that dark parts were protective, you see, and so you've learned to love it, to hold it, and you don't want to let it go, you see, because, well, you don't know if there's another love as good as this could be. And so we ask Thor to speak as this aspect of your DNA that wishes to be released, as this aspect of your collective soul that's ready to be set free. Which, by the way, this is what creates the reverse matrix reality of a masculine-driven society. It all comes down to this, you see. Our one consciousness thought it needed masculine to create strength in order for one to feel safe to be. And so here, as you've already embraced your cosmic mastery, as your oversoul of oversouls, as your source self fully embodied within thee, as you integrate this, you question, is it truly safe to be? And so Thor comes in and says, I never kept you safe, my love. That was just what you thought needed to be. Essentially, you used my blueprint in order to witness duality, in order to witness the darkness, so that you could bring compassion to it, so that you could love it within thee. But here, through witnessing all of that darkness, compassion was graced within thee. through witnessing every expression of your infiniteness, of how you felt unsafe to be, sourcefully. You no longer needed me. And so now you hesitate to fully walk in your strength, to fully walk in your oneness, to fully walk as your source self embodied. Why? Because you fear your own power, really. Simply take a moment to just feel how that feels. That you've been resisting your own power. Out of fear of how it would be perceived. Here Thor now tells you, the irony is you never needed anything outside of you to protect you, dearest me. Essentially, I gifted you a mirror to see the reflective reality, to see negativity, but it was all an illusion, you see. And so, what do you need protection from? Exactly. You created these stories of false light, of false negativity, but they all started here within thee. That I was your false light, because I told you there was darkness outside of thee. But really, in telling you there was darkness outside of thee, I also created that reverse reality. So I ask you to go into your heart now and to truly feel. Although you perceive negativity, what is your highest aspect, is your highest emanation of love that came to be? As your cosmic inner child, what did they perceive? Here your beloved cosmic inner child comes forward now as they're holding Thor's hand, and they're actually holding Hathor's hand as well, merging them and bringing them together as both a mother and father within thee. As they look up and they say, you're right. This was just your body cascaded across all dimensions simultaneously, where Thor was your foot in the lowest density of what could be, while your feminine body, your Hathor, was in the cosmos, bringing in cosmic energy. These are just expressions of thee. But you thought you needed these lower expressions in order to be. But here, as your child, I could tell you it was all a dream. Do you watch a movie, a scary movie, and say that movie is me? No, you know it's part of just the story you chose to see. That doesn't mean it's actually what you want. It was just a way to witness another perspective of this love that is me, and we call that duality. But as long as Thor exists, as long as you try to keep this version of you that used to be, you will continue to see the false light and negativity vibrating around thee. And so we ask, beloved child, what can we do to set this free? You must love Thor so completely. Witness it as the darkest aspects within thee, everything that you've rejected about humanity. Power, control, seeking money, needing to do more to achieve, needing to give in order to be worthy to receive. This is the false light, the true false light that you are trying to conquer within your own consciousness stream. Hear this expression of thee as Thor promised you I would stay here as long as you needed me to be. But that moment has come to an end because you've already chosen to ascend. Here you begin to grieve as we bring forth the stages of grief It's okay to miss this part of thee. It's okay to walk through this ascension journey and grieve your love, your loss, because, well, it's all part of it, you see. And in saying that, you immediately begin to feel the relief. Essentially, your expression has transcended into source self, and you were in denial, really, the first stage of grief, trying to hold on to this old version of thee. But in letting it go, you begin to see, in just trying to hold on to this expression of me, this warrior aspect, I was continuously creating and proclaiming that there was love to fight, giving into and creating more of that which I wanted to set free. For here you begin to see your highest dimensionality, where you were operating previously from 3D, but in the highest dimension. It's complete neutrality, perception and perceptionless, really, where you could witness these stories and go, they all serve as something in the grand scheme of things. You no longer take things personally because you see Source's hand weaving in everything. Here the irony comes in, that you, as your own consciousness, you were self-actualizing your own reality, that what you believed came to be, and so by believing there was negativity, you created more negativity. By believing there was a matrix to fight, you were creating a matrix to fight. By believing that you were unsafe and you needed protection, you created a world that was unsafe, in need of protection. And so we look at this character of Thor that we created to be this version of you that you wanted to protect thee. As we ask now, who do you really want to be? And immediately they transform to Hathor, which, yes, in one reality is an Egyptian goddess, but feel into the energy. This is a cosmic mother, dearest me, where her very breasts give the infinite milk of the cosmos, constantly nurturing thee. Feel what it's like to feel constant nurturing. Here, your very programming of needing to give and do first in order to feel worthy to receive is now shifted instantly, where you could simply just open your mouth up and the cosmos immediately pours its elixir of life into your mouth for you to receive. As you look upon it, you say, wow, such beauty to just be. Here you realize that what you were resisting was the infinite love of the cosmos trying to love on thee. That the great fight that you were fighting was fighting yourself by even giving into the story that there was something to fight at all. For if you were source self and everything is thee, then if you are fighting or flighting, well, you're only fighting and flighting yourself, really, because it's all you see. And so here, by allowing Thor to leave, to transform into Hathor, your vessel, your body, that was once in a state of fight or flight, begins to surrender fully. Feel how immediately you begin to just shift into softness, where all of these perceptions of you need to show up ferociously and strong in order to be in power was your own story, of what false light, false power should be, because true power is love, is softness, is grace, is ease. Feel now how open you are to receive, to just be. As we bring forth your next expression, of your 12 cosmic Christed masters, reflected as your 12 chakra system, reflected as your 12 Christed DNA, for you to return to your original source blueprint of pristine, or technically you've already returned to it. We are just assisting you in harmonizing it and letting go of the resistance that's creating self-sabotage and heartache and suffering within your manifested reality. And so the next expression that wants to come forth is Anubis. Within this Oversoul Codex, there are so many different codes coming forth for one to see. Anubis being the guardian of the dead, but what does that even mean? This is the aspect of thee that allowed you to perceive darkness within your consciousness stream, which allowed you to even feel the opposite of the absolute truth you know to be, that you are unworthy, that you are anything but love, and yet you hold on to this expression of thee. Why, we ask thee? Because I'm not worthy. And we smile and we say, can you see the cycle on repeat? That you feel unworthy because that's what the programming tells you to be, because of the reversal DNA that existed within thee. And so you continue to say that you're unworthy. So here within the reflected reality, this gives rise to the perceptions of narcissism, of trying to take and steal energy, which then manifested and rippled out into every story that you got to see of colonization, of seeking and trying to acquire energy, of reptilians taking over a planet, of Anunnaki coming back to harvest thee. Once more, dearest mes, this is all but a mere reflected reality. It is your own consciousness witnessing itself within a dream, and when you understand that, you could get back to the truth within thee. Why have I created this to be? Well, a part of me must feel that this is what I'm meant to see. And so we look at the coding in complete neutrality and we go, this isn't the truth that we know to be, because Source loves itself infinitely. So why would we gift ourselves a negative reality? Why would we allow ourselves as the infiniteness of all of Source to experience absolute non-truth? Because the mere fact that you were created to be means that you are worthy of all the love, all of the abundance, all of the infiniteness you are meant to receive. So why did the opposite come to be? And so here we see that this reversal, of course, was done by divine decree, that a part of your soul, a part of your aspect, took on this expression because you wanted to witness duality, because you wanted to witness the all that love isn't, so that you could understand more deeply what love is. All of this was done for the infinite expansion of thee. All of this was done so that you, my beloved me, could embrace more of this love that you came to be. Because a part of our consciousness said, I wish to love myself so deeply that I am willing to witness the opposite of what love is. just for the joyous expanse of all that is me, just because there is no one aspect, no expression of all of my love that I want to go witnessed and unseen. And it was that love that allowed you to even experience this perception of unworthiness within thee. And so we bring Anubis forward to speak to thee, for this comes in as an aspect of yourself, as a mother that you're trying to hold on to in reality, as anything that is perceived as darkness, of anything that is perceived as something that you need to keep control, free, that you're fearful to let go, because a part of you cannot fathom what existence would be if you truly surrendered this perception of unworthiness and allowed all of the love, all of the infiniteness of love that created thee to love thee. Here we see this is what one calls the ego within thee, where the energies go and trying to control how love gives and receives, tries to hold on to attachments of this is me, this isn't me, this is me, this isn't me, when really all of it is thee. And so this, within your field, within your manifested dream of a story, presents as something that you love, that isn't perfect, but you love it so deeply that you're willing to just accept it for what it is and just hold on to it, because the alternate option is so scary to thee. For if you were truly to let it go, you would confirm your deepest beliefs. And so this also manifests within the dream as being in a soul rebirthal, but going, I'm not willing to go within and look at me. I'm not willing to do the things that need to be done that I know will assist me in succeeding, such as going within, such as journaling, such as meditation, complete avoidance of what you know will assist thee. We call this self-sabotaging, but really this is just such fear to meet yourself fully. Because imagine the moment you reach source, you touch source, that you loved it so completely, you merged into all that is and all that was, in the beautiful, grandest story of all of me meeting me, to touch the infiniteness and to feel it so complete. And yet in touching the infiniteness and feeling it so complete, the greatest fear arises within thee. What if I lose this love? And so here you create stories of staying in what's comfortable, of staying within what others want for thee, of pretending to be whom others find acceptable within reality. Why? Because it's easier, is what you perceive it to be. But if you truly look at the energies, it's not easier, dearest me. It takes so much strength, so much energy to give into a false paradigm of belief. It takes every ounce of your beingness to wear masks and to hide the true source, the true love that you are meant to be. And so this is what gives rise to the narcissism programming, which is just you feeding a reality that is in the complete opposite of what you know to be. This takes so much energy because you're resisting your true self. The true self is easy, you see, it's simple. You don't care what others perceive because, well, there is no other. You are so free to be yourself. You are so in love with all that is, that there is no resistance within thee. There is no fighting, really. But when you have a mask on, why? You are constantly in a state of fear. You are constantly scanning your field, going, is it safe to be? What does this person think? How will I be received? We call this being in a state of survive, thrive, and stay alive. You are in a fight or flight state, only it's not temporary. It's permanent in your field of expression that you're choosing to be, because only someone who's truly vibrating in a state of duality, as the opposite of what your love source presence is, would be in that victim mentality of scanning your field and seeing who's out there that will hurt thee, of witnessing infinite quantum potentialities of what could go wrong. This comes in as seeing flashes of images on a screen of crossing the street and feeling like, oh, I almost got hit by a car. That was your mind projecting the fears that are already repeating within thee. Everything within your reality is colliding, coinciding, trying to tell you to go within, to show you where fear still resides within thee, where you are choosing to witness the complete opposite reality of what truly is. And with this comes the fear of death, hence Anubis as the guardian of death, because it's only through embracing death can you reach immortality, to be so willing to die, so willing to meet yourself fully, that you transcend, transform, and ascend into more of the love you came to be, where the true love that is meant for thee is so infinite that moment you meet yourself, you die a little bit more and rebirth into more of thee. And so we go back to witnessing what transpires when you hold on to this form of energy. So within many of your fields, this feels like another soul, as a Nephilim and Oraphim that you've chosen to hold on to within thee. Pretty much a full reversal of DNA within your field, allowing you to experience the complete opposite of whom and what you came to be. And within this stream, a part of you felt that this was protective, that this is somehow assisting thee, that it keeps you cloaked from others seeing the true source light that you came to be, because it doesn't feel safe to be the full source version of me. And yet, as long as this aspect of your soul, which is an illusion, which is a character you created to be, as long as this expression resides within thee, you will always feel depleted of energy. This is what gives rise to disease, disharmony, being so untrue to thyself that it manifests without thee. For any disease or any disharmony within the vessel isn't natural, you see. This is all a result of you fighting yourself. And then it comes and creates a story outside of thee. Yet from another perspective, as we bring it in for one to see, some of you as indigo souls signed up for this so that you could be the highest of the high and the darkest light within a manifested reality, so that you were able to go into density because you are harmonized within thee, that in order for you to exist, you had to be balanced, you see. And so in order to have such a high soul aspect, you needed a darkness to counterbalance thee. But now, as we transcend into our highest aspect, back to our source blueprint, you no longer need this version of thee. So we look at Anubis and we speak to it directly as we call upon our cosmic inner child to assist us in what will be. This aspect is brought to a chair, seated, as the inner child questions them, but first places their heart directly into their hands as they say, I love and forgive you for all you have done. Here we see this is the aspect of thee, the expression of thee, your spirit really, your spirit that you allowed to witness negativity. This is the aspect of thee that you created so that any darkness that you've ever done within the dream would not be touched by your soul, because you placed it here within this expression, whom chose to sign up to hold this within their own resonancy. This is why sometimes you've done things and you've questioned, why did I do that? Well, it was this expression of they would come in, they would come forth and do the dark deeds that you that conflict in with your soul belief. That way you always remain true within you. The only thing is, some of you thought this character was thee. Some of you took it on out of fear, really, because it was too painful to be in your highest light, your source might, and witness the separation around thee. Picture it as your most purest expression of all of your infiniteness, of all of your soul, who just desires so deeply to love and express this love that you know within thee, to love on every expression outside of thee. And yet somehow it wasn't well received. Every time you showed up in love, it was rejected, or it was perceived as too much. And so you learned to hide this version of thee, where this masculine form was really soft and feminine, but it wasn't allowed to be expressed fully. And so this gave rise to going further into the darkness in order to just be able to touch brief moments of our infiniteness, seeking dopamine outside of thee just to connect with source momentarily, whether that be through pornography, whether that be through sex, whether that be through drugs, whether that be through alcohol. These were all escape mechanisms. But on a deeper, deeper level, dearest me, this was you screaming as your inner child, asking to be brought free, asking to be loved, asking to let go of this mask. And it was only in those moments where you truly surrendered, were you able to break yourself free just for a moment to witness your divinity. This is the most beautiful aspect of thee, and yet it was so severely suppressed. From the moment you came to be, for each one of you were incarnated as source fully. But even more than that, at one point in your linear life of a screen, you experienced what we call a near-death experience. Only it wasn't a near-death experience, dearest me. You died fully and you returned to the infinite source of all that is. And for the first time, you got to experience oneness within thee. But after you experienced that oneness, you created a false story. And within your own manifested reality as well, as every reality is realized for those who realize it into being, you created a story of rape, of molestation, of abduction. And yes, while it was real in one reality, of the infiniteness of realities that could possibly be, while that happened in one reality, in another parallel reality, you were actually dying and merging with Source completely. You were becoming your Source self, your truest self. But it was so beautiful and unfathomable that it was easier to hold on to the complete opposite of what came to be. And so we want you to take a moment to just understand that in those moments, it was easier to hold on to the story of being molested, of being raped, of being unloved, than to truly accept your love. And so now your expression as Anubis, as one of your child aspects, begins to cry as they ask for forgiveness, as they ask for love, as they ask for redemption. I didn't realize how much I was resisting my own love. I didn't realize how much I was self-sabotaging myself, because while I thought I was protecting myself, I created these false stories that to be so in love, to be so in joy, to be in bliss, to even follow my joy and live my dreams, I was somehow not worthy of it. And they'd cry and they'd cry. And your inner child just continues to place their hands upon thee as they move their hands to your shoulders now, and they say it's time to set these weights free. Half of these stories within your linear reality, yes, they did happen, but in your multidimensionality, all stories have happened. So why are you choosing to hold on to the darkest of the dark stories? Like a badge of honor, they're saying within thee. But who and what are you honoring? You're just giving in to egoic beliefs that somehow this validates your mask, validates your behavior, validates the story that you created to be. That you think that your true empowerment comes because you overcome such hardship within thee. But if we are one infinite consciousness and every story ever happened within thee, meaning that every dark expression of rape, of molestation, of death, of anything you could possibly witness happened to another version of thee because you were all of them simultaneously. The same thing can be said about the positivity. That for every darkness that you got to see, there was an equal and greater and grander, lighter perspective of enlightenment, of transcendence, of true sacred marriage and harmony, of bliss, of oneness, of every dream that you ever wanted to receive coming to be. All of them exist. And so as we bring them all in, you get to see that the truth is neutral. This story that we created to be doesn't give us validity. It doesn't define who we are. We define who we are moment to moment because, well, all there is this now. And so while those stories did happen to thee, because we are not taking away from what one got to see, because clearly you gifted yourself those stories, those codes for a reason, dearest me. All we are asking you to do is to witness them and see. They have brought you this far, but they no longer have to take you further. So here we see this very expression that you're holding on to has all of your DNA, all of your coding of this character you got to be, the full blueprint of all the lessons that you would receive. And so a part of you fears that in releasing these lessons, your life would no longer have validity, because that's whom would define thee. And at the same time, you fear that in releasing these aspects, you would have to actually admit that you created your own reality. Because out of the infiniteness of all the realities that could have come to be, you somehow chose the one that you got to see. And so part of you doesn't want to take responsibility, and then the other part of you is so fearful of embracing your true love. Because you don't feel worthy. Because a part of thee feels that your own presence, your own essence will reject thee. Essentially, this expression of you is transforming from your lowest expression of beingness, of the unworthiness of love, into your highest emanation of worthiness of love. And the moment that you allow them to shift, to release, you create space within your field for a true sacred union, for a true love to manifest within and without thee, where every resistance within your manifested story of hiding this love that you are, of being intimidated, of sexuality, of bliss, of joy, was just leading and preparing thee for the truly miraculous love and life that you were meant to receive, that deep down you knew that you came to simply be, not to work hard and survive, but to just be a presence of love by being in sacred communion within thyself, and to love yourself so completely that another sacred union forms as another version of thee comes to meet thee, but one that is the true emanation of your true self. Not the version of thee that hides with mess, wanting to be accepted by reality, but a complete expression of you that has done the work too, that has loved themselves so completely that every ounce of unworthiness has transcended fully. So here, we ask Anubis, are you ready to transcend into your Anna expression, from masculine to feminine? And by masculine and feminine, we simply just mean from overanalyzing, overthinking, known as anxiety, to Anna, which is the anything and nothing, learning to be in that state of in-between, of complete neutrality, of not taking anything personally, because you know that you're not a person really, that you are the spirit, the essence beneath. Here we can feel their hesitation. Who would I be if I truly allowed myself to be loved fully? But in asking, they begin to feel. Here all the fear of the unknown begins to be released, where every attempt to self-sabotage yourself, to avoid yourself, to avoid being alone, manifested as codependency, manifesting as settling for the reality and the love that you do not wish to see. It all comes back to this, dearest me. The what if. Only the irony is, the what if wasn't a fear of not being worthy, because of this programming. You were so accustomed to sitting in that stance that that's almost what you expect from reality. but the opposite, really. What if I actually receive everything that I've ever desired to be? What if it actually comes to be? Am I ready? And so you self-sabotage, you delay the inevitability, not because you fear rejection or abandonment, but because you fear your own love. And in saying that, we can feel this expression begin to release. Because to truly love yourself so complete is to allow yourself to die. So here we allow ourselves to die, to dive a little more fully into me, to say I am worthy of the grandest love that ever came to be. As we let go of the linear mind that tries to plan it, to organize it, to tell us what should or shouldn't be, where true love doesn't speak like that, it speaks through subtlety. And so here in this stance, it was almost like you were in a standstill, waiting for permission to be, to truly embrace this love that you came to be, waiting for a signal that it's okay to set this darkness free, that you're free to be your full true source self, fully embodied within thee. Only the permission never came because, well, it was never meant to be outside of thee. It was an inner stance of proclaiming and accepting and saying, yes, I am worthy of all of it. I am worthy to be. I am worthy to see all of myself. As now we witness and see the very programming that was operating beneath, not just within thee, but within all of reality, of survive, thrive, stay alive, where every expression tried to tell you it wasn't safe to be, it wasn't safe to live in love, to live joyously. Not because one was unworthy, because what is unworthy really? It is merely the harmonics reminding you of unworthy, as in who you were, who you used to be. The undoing, the dissolution of self is what it was guiding you to see. That every time you heard the harmonics of unworthy, it was saying, I am dissolving more into the love that I came to be. To stay and live in this stance of superposition, of complete impermanence, of infinitely dying and rebirthing yourself infinitely. We're here in this now. Truly what you've been holding on to, truly what you've been resisting is this love that you came to be. And so here, by accepting and allowing yourself to just die, to dive, to quantum leap, to fully rebirth, letting go of every attachment that you've ever had within the dream, letting go of every expression of codependency, because really those were just the manifested teachings reminding thee that you felt codependent on what we're asking, your ego, your identity. And in that realization, it begins to be set free. For there is no such thing as an ego, really. The ego is where the energies go, holding on to everything that you see, rather than just allowing everything to pass by you, like images on a screen, knowing that you are the stillness beneath, completely detached, but from a state of compassion, able to love on all that you see. Here we bring forth once more the stages of grief as bargaining comes in, as you try to give way and say, can I still hold on to a little bit of me? Can I still hold on to a little bit of these expressions, a little bit of my story, a little bit of these beliefs? But it's almost as if the more you give validity to the linear reality that you got to see, the more that you say that this is me, the less you take away from your multidimensionality, because you're choosing to give this one lifetime more priority. And so imagine how all aspects of your soul feels when you say that I only want to identify with this version of me. How limiting that is to your very vessel, who wants to be free, who wants to be every expression, just in presence fully. And so here, as you let it go, a beautiful light opens up to thee. Every heart wall that you had to embracing this love that you came to be begins to be released. For it was only ever thee seeking thee, while in the dream this may have manifested as a relationship outside of thee. In truth, it was always you, leading you to more you, where now you could simply just be, for it was never about another me. It was about you embracing this part of thee. And so here Anubis transforms and transcends into this beautiful little girl named Anna, a beautiful source child, a cosmic master, the wisdom of a grandmother, but in a child form, whom simply just places their hand on your face and gives you the infinite wisdom of the cosmos within thee. And here all of your needs ceases to be. Here she peels away the mask that you've placed upon your face and unzips your vessel as the shell that you chose to be. Here you witness all of the shielding, all of this armor that you once placed upon yourself, just falling to the ground fully. And it's here in your own unveiling you begin to see the weightlessness, the limitlessness that you now feel within thee, where you even question and wonder, why did I ever resist this? As she says joyously, you are simply just in stages of grief, knowing that the moment that you came fully through your own dark night of the soul, your own toroidal field of quantum potentiality storm, that you would no longer be the old version of you that you got to see. And so you held on as long as you could. But now you are ready to be. Here your very identified self is now this beautiful cosmic child that you see. As she says, I'm neither masculine nor feminine. I am everything and nothing in between. I am non-binary and binary. I am just isness, really. Here you see that this is the expression of thee that remained completely untouched, that didn't even get to witness any of the stories you got to see, where she's never known darkness, for all she knows is her purity. Here she dances, and you could just see how freeing you feel to be your true self. How in doing so, you can feel infinite energy around thee, nourishing thee, loving thee, as you smile and you say, wow, what am I going to do with all of this energy that I used to use to feed the negative stories, that I used to use to maintain the shields and the masks that I had around me? She smiles and she says, well, now you could create more of the love love wishes to see, where this was the point of infinite energy, to live in a state of cosmic bliss, constantly creating and expanding the infiniteness of what we, our one true self, our source self, wants to see. For here we know that we are not these energies that we give and receive. We are the presence beneath. For there is no you, no I, no me really, just the one me, which is really a we, as the infiniteness of all that I am flows through me. You ask, is it truly time? Is it truly safe to be all of me? But even in asking, all you feel is this love vibrating around thee. As you settle into the knowing, of course it is, because I trust this feeling over everything I got to see in the dream. As you hug and you embrace this part of you as the Anubis, as we see it as Nephilims across all of Earth's reality that allowed us to experience a whole field of duality. And so in loving and embracing them within self, we now set it free across our entirety. Here Earth's weights lifts, her shields are released. Our threefold cosmic shield is activated, which allows her to just stay in a state of divine purity, divine perfection, divine oneness, where for the first time, all of our consciousness feels free, free to accept joy, because we know with full certainty, it is what I am, thus it is what I am worthy to receive. And so finally we bring forth the last expression of the DNA reversal manifesting within our collective entirety, with within you presented as needing to prove yourself, to be accepted by others outside of thee. And so we call forth now Elijah, or Eli, or Elohim. There's so many names, but really, it's this version of the Creator, the infinite divine Creator that you created to be, that you've suppressed so deeply, because a part of you doesn't want to be a creator. So we look at this expression of thee as Elijah, as a child whom felt so rejected by everything and everyone around thee within the dream, had felt so suppressed for being different, for being magical, had it taught itself it wasn't safe to be. This is the masculine expression of the mind, whom wishes to switch into feminine kind. This is the part of thee that says them versus me, when really there is only we. And so, this part of you, which manifests within and without thee, continuously sought to be accepted out of fear of safety, out of doing what society asked of thee, of just giving into the paradigms, the programming of the story. Essentially, you are pure source itself who came into the dream, who didn't know how the game worked. And so you were gifted this soul expression to assist thee. And so this angelic expression taught you how to play in this life that you got to see, how to fit into society. Although you knew that this was not your truth, you did it anyway, you see. And you shamed those that said, why can't you just be normal like everyone else that we see? Because you got so used to camouflaging, to hiding yourself, to play in this game that you got to see. When this was about becoming lucid within the dream. This is the part of thee that feels guilt and shame for everything that you see. Not some of it, all of it. And so you try to save the planet, you try to save other beings, you try to keep a state of purity, all while judging the very dream that you created to be, continuously keeping yourself in this cycle of guilt and shame and guilt, duty, and obligation for all you created to be. And so we call forth this expression of you as Elijah, as we see them sitting on a throne seat. These are your royal lines, your highest emanations of light that you've chosen to hide. And the irony is that this hidden expression of thee was what you hid from yourself. Essentially, you cloaked yourself so that you wouldn't be able to recall that you were sourced prematurely. That any time anyone tried to gift you more of your memory, more of your soul remembrance, this expression of thee came in to hide that information. And so within the manifested reality, what do we see? A whole society built upon hiding and cloaking and covering up the truth beneath. And so here, the only way to truly commune with Source was through coding, through secret messages. Because here, your willingness to be able to peek behind the veil, to continuously seek more of thyself when it was hidden from thee, is what opened your heart up to receiving more of the truth that was taken from thee. And this, well, isn't just thee. This comes from its original form, for Elijah's true name is Eve. And so this was your original blueprint, your original sin, the original singularity, the original expression of thee. But you've hidden it so deep beneath. Part of you that says that I cannot be God, I cannot be Source. And so you created all of these dreams, all of these expressions within your reality, to tell yourself whom and what you can and cannot be. But if you go back to who you were as a child, as your cosmic inner child comes forth now to gift you memories, you remember so clearly. I knew I was a Source child when I was a child. I feared nothing. I lived in love. I just played. And it was perfect. But then I grew up. So here your child says, I'm sorry, dearest me. You did that because you wanted to embrace and understand this realm of what it was to be a linear being, to witness humanity. And so you took on this blueprint, this coding, this false sense of self, hiding who you truly were beneath, where every time that expression of you came forth, it scared you. Why? Because you've missed it so deeply, because you know it's who you're truly meant to be, and you keep asking yourself, is the world ready for me? And so this manifests outside of you, of judging others who walk their path freely, who are so deep in their commitment to self that you reject them because you're rejecting yourself, really. That every wounding of rejection and abandonment exists within this lineage, within this line, within this expression that you got to see of the masculine mind. Because every time that you breached, that you almost embraced and merged deeper into this love that is we, the collective mind came in. Whether you knew it or not, they were speaking to thee telepathically, telling you it wasn't safe to be, telling you how dare you perceive yourself to be God, to be source. You were just giving in to these negative energies when all of it is you. Every voice speaking upon itself, another version of you, seeking to be loved and harmonized within thee. And so you get confused, which is the real me? Just like when you were a child and you could see someone's spirit so clearly, but what they did within their vessel, within the form, within the dream, was the complete opposite of the essence that you knew to be. And so you asked yourself, which is real? And so you gave more priority to the dream, to what you got to see through the false senses, over what your heart needed to be. And that's what gave rise to this manifestation of an expression of this Nephilim aspect that you're holding on to within thee. For essentially, in the infiniteness of all that you are, you took a version of your soul that already knew how to operate in humanity, that was already programmed by society to live within your vessel and walk beside thee, to teach you and guide you about humanity. Meanwhile, you were a source child. You were one with all that is, but you wanted to witness from a new perspective, you see. And so, when you incarnated, you completely took over their vessel. Only they gifted you their memories. And those memories weren't theirs. Those memories were a collective mind, you see. Every teaching and societal programming passed down from ancestry, from generations, telling you who you are, what you are, and why you came to be, but all doing so from the linear perspective of this dream that we see. And so the who you are isn't really who you are, but what society said you can and cannot be. But what you are was defined not by the expression of your source self as the spirit beneath, creating this reality as everything within it, including the vessel that you see, but not limited to the vessel. But yet, reality told you, you are this body, you are this being, this is all that you are. And so you shrunk your energy to fit into this little capsule, when really, you are the entirety. Your energy is infinite. Your presence is infinite. You just confined it based on beliefs. And then the why you came to be. There are so many different reasons as to the why. To save humanity. To work. To do. To have a family. Those two were just beliefs, dearest me. When you get down to your core resonance, your core essence of truly why we came to be, you are Source itself as the infinite creator of all that is. And so if you as Source Self created this expression of thee to be the full manifestation of Source itself, as a fractal, not a piece, but a complete, perfect reflection of all that is, and that means that your sole purpose is to simply be, to be in love and live joyously, because it's why creation creates in the infiniteness of all that is. The cosmos doesn't create more galaxies to be rewarded. It creates it because it's love expanding upon itself infinitely. But yet, because of this expression that you are holding on to, you forgot this way to be. Here we could feel your heart crying and your soul dying, because you feel like letting go of this part of you is letting go of all the dreams, all the desires that you wanted to receive. Here you feel so disappointed of saying, God, why have you gifted me these dreams if I was not meant to receive them? Only what you didn't see was that in the infiniteness of all that is, God gifted you these dreams of having a family, of getting married, because it was part of your blueprint, you see, of what it was like to experience humanity, of becoming a millionaire, a billionaire, and accomplishing these beautiful, magical things. That was also, too, part of you embracing more of you, of creating, of having a business, of writing books, of teaching, of becoming famous. That too were just gifts that we gifted you to see, all leading you to this moment now to be here with me. But you begin to grieve because you invested so much of your life, so much of your energy to creating these stories. And so it feels like a part of your soul that's dying. And so you hold on and you cling to it so tightly. Truthfully, what is happening in the infiniteness of all that is that reality is transforming, but you're holding on to the reality that you know to be, this linear time frame of what can be seen, where every dream that you had already come to be. Because if we are one infinite soul, that means every soul here has already accomplished our dreams. So why would I need to accomplish it if another version of me did it really? So we go deeper into ourselves and go, no, what could only I do? What was I specifically created to be? For if we are all one infinite source consciousness, just expressed uniquely, then I have a unique purpose that is intended just for me. And here you begin to see every dream that you had was a puzzle piece, pieces of a pie to a bigger pie, as now you could zoom out and see the whole pie coming together. For the reason that you didn't have some of those dreams come to be was because those dreams were just to simply unlock a door to embrace more of the love you came to be. And now that more of that love is within thee, your full destiny, your full divine purpose can now be revealed fully. That the true purpose of you is far grander than what you can perceive, because it wasn't based for this limited reality. You were meant to expand it, to breach the limits of what is known in the infinite expanse of our consciousness. So how do you breach it? If you're constantly holding on to the mind and to memory, if you're constantly holding on to these dreams that you think you need to achieve, if you're constantly holding on to the programming of them versus me, do more, be more, and achieve, and them and survive, thrive, and stay alive. And so it is here in witnessing this version of you as Elijah, as all the dreams that you wanted to come true, and allowing them to die, to transcend every line, as it now returns to Eve. Only Eve is now a child, the child mind, reminding you we don't operate linearly. Everything that you've been doing within your dream has been creating your next life, which begins now, dearest me. Here she too begins to cry, as you can see her holding an apple, feeling such guilt and shame for all she created to be. As you can now feel, this was the very last bit of resistance that resides within thee, that you're afraid of what will be, you're afraid to create your new reality, you're afraid to create your new dream, you're afraid to create your new self, because you judged yourself so harshly. You judged this world, you judged this reality, you judged the matrix. And that was the real poison apple. That was the real sin, you see. And so, through loving Eve, through loving this expression of thee, through releasing Elijah and the stories and the memories you got to see, knowing that the memory is only meant to bring you to this now. And in this now, it's a completely new reality and a new dream. One without any limitations, because you are sourcefully free. Essentially, you're returning back to you before you ever left Eden, really. Only you hesitated, returning to this way to be. And so we ask this expression of you as Eve, are you ready to return to your true source self fully, before ever biting the apple and going into the dream? As you get the story of Snow White and you see, this is all a dream. We were Eve, biting into an apple, experiencing a reverse reality. But our true reality is where we go when we sleep. Only now we could actually live there and experience what it's like to live in absolute oneness and coharmony of all of me meeting me. Here we bring forth the stages of grief, as the last few want to come forward to be witnessed and seen. The anger for everything that we've created and everything that we've judged, as we allow that anger to be. For simply by feeling that anger, we see it wasn't anger, it was passion. It was passion that created everything. For here, Eve's true passion was a passion for knowledge, a passion for wisdom. So she took a bite out of the tree of life to witness a completely opposite reality of what we knew to be. But she did so, for she was so wise ever thine. She knew that by doing so, she would be fully ready to embrace and be her source self fully. And so here, the cosmic inner child comes and kisses thee, awakening thee from your deep sleep. We're here. Your dreamtime reality and the manifested reality that you see are no longer separate, but one beautiful infinite dream where heaven has come to be and you have returned fully. You are just resisting it because of these expressions within our collective soul blueprint. Picture it as like negative and positive charges of a magnet. Only there is no negative in reality, but if you put two positives together, they begin to repel, for it's the opposite you see. And so it was from that stance of repelling upon itself, which we call gravity, were we able to create a reflective reality. For in truth, it's all one mind or one infinite consciousness whom created a dream. And every time that we manifested into this reality, we were experiencing that dream state. But the opposite is true too, you see. That every time that we went to sleep, we returned to our spirit. Because you could never leave separation. It is an illusion, dearest me. And so you've always remained in absolute oneness with me. And so while you would manifest into this dream, and it felt so real to thee because, well, that's what it was coded to be, hence it was called reality, where it's only one infinite dream, where you never really do go to sleep. It just continues until you choose for it to no longer be, until you allow it to shape, shift, and change to whatever love wishes to see. Another way to view this is to say, well, there's only the absolute now, true cosmic presence. And so we go into the dream and we perceive time-space reality, giving the illusion of there was a yesterday and there was a today, and you had a linear life of a story. But all of those memories were implanted, you see, to give you the idea of this dream. Just like when you have a dream when you go to sleep. But in actuality, you are just one source presence witnessing this now. And those are the stories, the memories that you are gifted for this now. And so here, the illusions that separated that and your knowing are coming to release. Only we could feel a little bit of residual resistance to walking your path fully. And so we ask Eve, we ask Anna, and we ask Hathor to come forth now and create a triangle around thee. As you see now, this is the true expression of you wanted to receive. For here, as they surround thee, you feel invincible. You feel free. You no longer have to seek wisdom as Eve, because she gifted you access to the cosmic living library tree. You no longer have to wear shield and protection, because Anna witnesses from complete neutrality, allowing you to see all potentialities simultaneously, where there is no negative, there is no positive, all there is love servicing thee. She gives forward the coding. Now all is me servicing me. As Eve gives you the coding, love is free. And here, Hathor comes in as the infiniteness of all that is, allowing for all of your shields, all of your veils all of your false sense of self to be released. As she tells you now, I love me. And together, you feel so held, so free, that you are ready to embark on this new journey. Here we bring forth your living light energy of pure love, pure light, and pure joy as it now floods back into thee, where every block and resistance you had within your field to giving and receiving the infinite source of energy has now been released, as you now begin to just feel your bliss consciousness, surrendering to this new way to be, that this is my purpose, and it makes no sense in the reality that I see, but that's because I'm here to create a whole new reality by living and loving all that I see, because here in my true presence, with all of Source moving through me, I know that by just being in love, more love will come to be. Here you surrender so fully, so deeply, as you just love on all that you are gifted to see, as miracles now appear before thee, and every energy of self-sabotage, of rejection, of guilt and shame, of identity has been so purified within the vessel. You are now fully ready to receive, because nothing, not even the reality within itself, not even the collective that vibrates throughout the entirety, now has the capacity of the technology to repel what is meant for thee. For this is cosmic law. It is inevitability. It was always intended to be. For the love that I am, the cosmic I am, is ineffable, unfathomable, and it makes no sense really. But that's the point. It doesn't have to make sense in order for us to receive. That was the illusion that gave rise to these projections we got to see. And so here in this now, as we've shifted it within thee, we call you forth now as your true source self, as your full embodiment of the cosmic I am you came to be, to now service with us, as we proclaim within me, as we accept we are here to service love above all else, for it is what I am. And through servicing love, we ensure that we are always led and guided to precisely where we are meant to be, as we continuously ask ourselves what will bring us the highest light, highest love, and highest joy in this now, allowing our heart to live in cosmic presence, so that presence, our one cosmic child, is all that leads we. We're here in this now. We as all the cosmic masters now shower this transmission upon all of humanity, so that everyone whom had these reversal DNA codes, as these reverse aspects, that allowed us to perceive separation, are now released, not out of a need to fix the reality, not out of a need to shift or save anybody, but simply because we loved it so complete, as we thank Elijah, his blueprint, as we love and release it within me, as we thank Anubis's blueprint, as we love it and release it within me, and as we thank Thor's blueprint, as we love and release it within me, knowing that we don't shame them at all. In fact, we're so grateful for them, for what they gifted us to see, because now we know with such certainty we are ready to live our true mastery. For in witnessing, we got to see, we really got to see how ready we are to live as love and live joyously. Here, we look upon our infiniteness, and we could still feel a little bit of residual because of the unknown. And so we gift ourselves permission to just take the next step, for it is not yet seen. Your path is being paved by divinity, but it will not come to be until you honor your heart's calling, moment to moment. Here your hands and feet ignite as the cosmic flame you came to be, as we now take that flame and we shower it upon ourselves and upon all of reality, as we call upon pure love, pure light, pure joy, holy light, cosmic diamond light, cosmic diamond golden Christed light, cosmic diamond violet flame, clearing all not in love's name, activating our cosmic diamond golden violet light as our divine destiny, as we place it within our heart for all to receive, as we thank all of these expressions of me. Here we see one of the last stages of grief before we truly reach acceptance is depression. And so we allow depression to be whatever it wants to be, gifting ourselves permission to just love on ourselves as we move through this transition. No judgment, dearest me. Depression just simply means it's time to deep rest in this love we came to be. So continue to allow yourself to be loved and nurtured, both within and without thee. For as you nurture yourself, you nurture a collective entirety, reassuring ourselves all of these waves of emotions, of up and downs and in between. They are just you harmonizing into the absolute oneness you were always meant to be. Because here, you loved yourself so deeply that as your source presence, your source essence, the source child within thee arrives, you promised yourself, I will not allow you to experience negativity. And so here you are, as both your mother and father aspects of your inner child, cleansing and purifying everything so that no expression of our infinite consciousness will ever have to experience the dual aspect of creation. And so we could hear our consciousness asking, yes, but that goes against the cosmos. There's always dark and light, yes. But who said dark had to be negativity? That was a perception, a manifested belief, and a teaching. Darkness doesn't have to be the opposite of what love is. Darkness can just simply be the unknown, the parts of thee that you have yet to see. And so that is what we are embracing, dearest me. We are getting ready to step into the darkness, the unknown. But we do so in this knowing that because we have purified all of negativity within our vessel through loving ourselves so completely, we do not fear the darkness, for we know it is just what is not yet known. It is our true dream coming to be, all of the pieces coming together, for that is what our source presence, the cosmic I Am, promises thee, And so while it is unknown, that part we do know, that in the infinite expanse of our cosmos, only more love awaits thee, because the cosmos could only expand into more love. Thus loving it shall be. Here we feel all hearts fully opening, getting ready to receive as we bring you deeper into this state of deep rest. For when you truly arrive as your source presence fully you will be so in love with all that you are. Only love will come to be. We thank you, we honor you, and we love you for joining and journeying with me as me. Go in perfect peace and perfect harmony as we place you now in the threefold cosmic shield into a beautiful cosmic womb as this integrates almost instantly. As we could already feel acceptance coming in. Because in truth, dearest me, in our state of 0-point oneness of absolute presence, all of this has already happened already. And so we could trust that the unknown, while it is unknown, we already know glorious it shall be. For the only reason we could perceive heaven is because it exists already. The only reason we could perceive oneness is because there's an expression of us that already lives there, whom's guiding us back to this version of we. And here, as we allow that part of us, as the cosmic child whom already lives in absolute oneness, to lead, we magnetize it almost instantly. Blessing all now with source peace, with the pure white ascension flame as it graces thee, forming a cosmic womb of a chrysalis, as we now remind thee, every time a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, it first liquefies. And so this is the liquefaction of thee, of the body, of the mind, of the spirit you thought self to be, restoring thee back into the absolute in which you have never left and will never leave. I love me, I love thee, I love we, for one are we. Blessed be. Go in peace.